morning. It's Sunday. What is today? Sunday, the 10th of April. And it's Dean Weitzman, and this is Court Radio. If you've got legal issues, this is the spot to be on Sunday mornings. All you got to do is give me a call at 215-227-2727. That's what I'm talking about. Pick up the phone. Make the call. 215-227-2727 gets you in the door at Court Radio, where I'll do my very best to answer your legal questions. As I said, it is about 32 degrees today, going up to a high of 52. It's been cold, rainy, and nasty. The Phils start their home opener on Monday against San Diego. Looking forward to that. Though I have to say, it's probably going to be a rainy day, but we'll see. What else is going on? Villanova. How can I forget Villanova? The Wildcats took the national championship and are being appropriately celebrated by the city. They had a little parade downtown on Friday, and a whole bunch of people came out. It was a nice event. 215-227-2727. That gets you into Court Radio this morning. I'm going to start the show by talking about some areas of the law that I get calls regularly that aren't cases, or aren't cases that really work in the system. The first one is usually a landlord-tenant call. Landlord-tenants. Landlord's not doing their job, and I want to get out of the lease. Well, usually what I would tell folks who have that scenario is that they have to continue to pay their rent unless their dwelling is uninhabitable. Uninhabitable. You're paying for a place that has heat, electricity, running water, toilets, and one of those systems does not work. Okay, I could then tell you to put your money into an escrow account. Put it into an escrow account. Do not just stop paying the rent. You open a bank account. You title it for in trust for the lease of whatever address, and you're the signator, you're the account holder. You control it, but you put the money in every month into this and don't give it to the landlord, which may give the landlord an incentive to actually repair and fix your place. If you get sued for the rent, you can show the court that you've put it into this account, and they will not hold it against you. That's about the best you can do in that scenario. Now, if you want to get out of the lease and it is uninhabitable, then you can continue to do the same thing until they make the repairs and move into a new place. And if they've never made the repairs and it was uninhabitable, then I think you can take that money and leave, and you'll be able to show the court all the documents along the way that you did. And you can use that money to move into a new place. 215-227-2727. That's the first area of the law that people always have problems. That more likely than not, you're not going to get an attorney to represent you on because the cost of representation would far exceed the amount in controversy. The second area, I bought a car. I want to get out of it. Or usually it's a wife calling who says, my husband bought a car over the weekend. I don't know what he was thinking. He's insane. Why did they sell it to him? Can't they tell he's insane? Well, if he's not declared incompetent, your husband has the right to buy a car. And no, you're not going to get out of it on Monday morning because of your regrets. You know, people call me about the 72-hour rule. That's if somebody sells you something at your door. And it also applies to mortgages if you refinance. okay, which is why they don't usually make distributions of refinanced mortgages for 72 hours, because you can get out of those. But you can't go drive yourself or walk yourself to a car dealership, sign on the dotted line, leave with the car, and then decide, it's not in the budget, I want to change my mind. That's not going to work. Well, okay, the second thing with cars, I bought the car, I drove it home, and it got a sound. It goes kida-king, kida-kong, kida-kunk, and we think it's broken. We don't want it. Too bad. Buyer beware. Go find yourself a mechanic and have the car looked at before you buy it. If you bought it, more likely than not, you're not getting out of the contract. Now, if there's a warranty, and there's always a warranty of some sort, then they've got to adhere to the warranty. And if they fail to adhere to the warranty, I guess in that circumstance, you could sue them in municipal court. If it's under $12,000, you could sue them in municipal court in Philadelphia or small claims court in the counties for the monies that you paid. But if you have a loan with a loan company, you got to keep paying that regardless. You could sue the people you bought the car from if there's a warranty and if they violated that warranty. But under none of those circumstances would you be permitted to just walk away from the car. So you don't have to call me and ask those questions about cars and leaseholds because I've answered them today. And if you've got friends who have those questions, you can tell them you heard Dean talking about that on Court Radio. 215-227-2727. We have one more area that always seems to get calls, but I'm not going to talk about it right now because we got callers going crazy. So let's talk to Greg on line 3, Lara from Deptford, New Jersey. Hi, Greg. Welcome to Court Radio.
Hi. How you doing this morning?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. It's a cold morning, but, I dressed appropriately. How about you? How are you doing this morning?
I ain't doing too good. I'm not doing too good.
What happened?
I had a car accident. It's been over 2 years now. So 2 years, 6 months, happened in December. And the money, everything's going to be settled. It's about it. I wait for them to give me an amount and everything, and so all that stuff. And that wasn't also before, so we know exactly what to do. So now for my next thing, then this lawyer has been fighting for me. Somebody recommended them. It was some kind of fire industry, I guess. I didn't really I should have came to y'all. I wasn't thinking at the time, stuff happened so fast. So they told me now to use my own insurance, my own health insurance for the operation. They want to cut my neck in May. And he told me to use my own insurance, and then insurance my told me that's going to have to come out the money that's wrong with that. They told me, don't worry about it. They're giving me the runaround. Are you serious? Does that even sound right to you?
Well, okay. All right. So let's talk about a little bit about this because there's probably some facts I don't have that are important. But let's assume for a moment that, first of all, your medical expenses from an auto accident are always paid by your auto insurance if you have it. So if you own a motor vehicle and you have insurance on your car, that's the place to turn to get fixed from that accident.
Yes. Okay.
But many of us don't have all that much insurance. Now, in New Jersey, where you hail from, I'm assuming, since you're calling from Deptford,
yes,
a policy of insurance in New Jersey more likely has better health coverage than they do in Pennsylvania, because in Pennsylvania, most people only have $5,000. That's the minimum coverage. But in New Jersey, most people have $250,000 in coverage.
That's my limit, $250,000.
Okay, so if you've got $250,000 in coverage on your policy, and if you haven't exhausted that, then that's where you turn to get your neck surgery done.
Right, because they did my shoulder, my neck, and also I had some prior back problems, but now my back's messed up more too. And they tell me, don't worry about this. It's like when they were supposed to be fighting for me with the adjuster for the insurance. I'm calling more, and they call them. They weren't even interested. What are y'all doing?
Now, there is a time limit. I will tell you this. There is a time limit, Greg. And, to be honest, the time frame does not immediately come to mind. I'd have to investigate that, but I think it might be 3 years from the date of the accident. And so if you're going to have this surgery, bear that in mind. You're not at the 3-year point yet, and May won't be either. I think you said the accident happened in December. So you should be fine with that.
It's been 2 years and 5 months.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're having surgery in May, I'm 100% certain it's not beyond the time frame. And if you've got the coverage, $250,000, and it's accident related, then the appropriate place for you to go for that surgery is your own coverage on your auto accident.
Now, this is what they're doing now. When she told me before, because I had going to pain management now, she told me to go to my insurance for the pain management thing. Now they told me I have to pay back that. Still, I'm going for like a year and a half for the pain management. You know what I mean? And they got me on this medicine, and I got also, and they now come to go to my, because I was robbed and was supposed to do it. And the insurance company said, well, they didn't do it while you haven't seen the doctor in 6 months. I said, I have. So my lawyer told me to go to my insurance. And now they don't have a record of that. So they give me a big what let insurance do.
Yeah, well, you see, that's the other thing. You can have $250,000 in coverage, but the insurance companies actively try to cut off their policyholders from getting any more treatment. And so they send you to doctors that if those doctors say you don't need any more treatment, the insurance company has a legal justification not to pay anymore. If that happened to you and your coverage has been cut off, then in that case you may have to turn to your health insurance. Or you may have to fight that decision by the insurance company for the automobile that cut you off. And sometimes, and then I'm going to have to run, sometimes they cut you off from, let's say, the chiropractic care, the physical therapy type of treatment. They cut you off from that, but they don't cut you off from everything. So surgery's still in the cards. You have to see exactly why and which type of doctors cut you off. If it wasn't a surgeon, then you're eligible to continue to have that surgery that you have planned for May. These are complex matters that really require a thoughtful analysis. And you said it right when you said it the first time. I wish I had gone to you, Dean Weitzman, but I didn't. And so you got to rely upon your attorneys and their advice. And if you don't understand their advice, I tell my clients and I tell everyone, if you don't understand, ask to come into the office and sit down and review it and have them explain it to you until you do understand why they're giving you the advice they're giving you. Greg, thanks for calling Court Radio, brother. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you so much. Should I try to switch lawyers or do what's the too late in case now?
At this point, you said you've got a settlement coming, so I would say, that
what that includes. I don't know if that includes they're not right. Can I drop a name?
No. What was it?
I got it right on Bustleton Avenue, Route 1 Bustleton. So that nails it down, right?
Route 1 in Bustleton. I don't know, but I know it's not me.
Somebody in Associates.
Greg, have a great Sunday. I'll talk to you soon. Cats and Associates. Okay. Yes. Well, what are you going to do? Listen, if you're not happy with your lawyers, you can switch. But, I mean, if the case has already been settled and you're waiting for a check to come in the mail, it's a little, that ship has sailed. It's a little late. I don't think you're going to find an attorney who's getting involved at that point because there's the ability to earn a fee is over in any event. Greg, best of luck with that. Thanks for calling Court Radio. And next accident, you call my Philly lawyer. We'll take care of you. All right, let's talk to... Let's talk to Richard from Wilmington.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I have a strange problem. I went out on a work injury under workers' comp, and my company would not let me come back to work. They won't tell me why, but they wouldn't let me come back to work. So what I did is I filed for unemployment. When I filed for unemployment, I lost the first time. I appealed, and then I won. During the hearing, they stipulated that I followed the things that I was supposed to follow. So then I won my unemployment. Now they want to take me to the board, and I'm trying to find out if I go to the board, since they've already stipulated that I did do what I was supposed to do, and they stipulated to it under oath. Can they reverse it is the first part, and are they obligated to tell me why I failed my physical because they won't let me come back to work? That's the question.
Okay, so no, they're not obligated. That you touch upon the third area of the law that I get a lot of calls on, and that's employment issues. You know, my employer let me go. They didn't have a good reason. It wasn't my fault. It was somebody else's fault. They said I failed the physical. I don't believe I did. You know, most of us are at-will employees. That means that we serve at the will of the employer, and we have very little rights to hold on to our job, and our employer can fire us or let us go or lay us off or do whatever they want to do with us for pretty much any reason at all, so long as the reason isn't one of the protected classes of that, for instance, if they fired you for age discrimination, then you'd have a valid case. If they fired you for sexual orientation or race. These classes of people are recognized by the Supreme Court of the United States as worthy of extra protection. And if you've been fired for one of those reasons, you have a civil action against your employer for a civil rights violation.
Okay, but I haven't been fired.
Well, you just haven't been brought back in. It's kind of the same thing. And you don't have a right. My point is that you don't have a right to the job. And in fact, when an employee goes out on workers' comp, a lot of times, depending on how long they've been out, the employer can terminate their relationship while they're out on comp. Now, on the one hand, it doesn't help the employer because then the employee can continue to stay on comp longer because the employer has to show that there's some job out there for them, and it's not as easy as when they were holding that job. On the other hand, they don't have to keep that job open. They can, you know.
Okay,
go ahead.
My big question is, if somebody's going to fail you on the return to work physical, don't they have to tell you what you failed?
Again, not really, but a lot is determined by the employee handbook that you have. If you had an employee handbook and it said in there that, you know, you have to pass a physical, and if you don't pass the physical, the employer has to tell you why you didn't pass, then I'd say they violated their own rules. And in that case, yes, you may have a right that was violated. That is, you know, that's something that you can enforce. But if you don't have an employee handbook, or this specific area isn't really referenced in the employee handbook, then I'd say no. Generally speaking, an employer doesn't have to tell you anything. They could tell you, sorry, we don't want you. We don't want you here. Goodbye. Or you failed. We're not going to go into any details. Goodbye. And probably the failure has to do with the workers' comp case. They don't want to bring you back because they're afraid that you're going to have another case, and that you're, you know, and that might not be a good. There may be no justification for holding that opinion by your employer. But the point I made earlier is that they don't have to have a good justification. As long as they haven't fired you for a discriminatory reason, they can fire you for any reason at all, or not bring you back, in your case, for any reason at all. And they don't really need to share that with you, again, unless you have an employee handbook that specifically protects you in this area. As far as can the board make a different decision than the workers' comp referee, the unemployment administrative judge, can the full board make a different decision? Of course they can. But what the employer has to show is that the lower level judge made a mistake of law. It's not like they get to relitigate this case all over again. You won in the last go round, and I assume because you won, you're receiving unemployment benefits until the board makes a different decision. And again, rarely do they don't make a different decision unless somebody's made a mistake of law. So good luck with that. Thank
you. Your show is definitely the best.
Thanks.
You're the best lawyer. We wish we had you down in Delaware.
Take care. Thank you, my little friends in Delaware. Be well. 215-227-2727. So he brought me, Richard from Wilmington, brought me to talking about the third area of the law. So, you know, I had to let the cat out of the bag. It's employment, you know. Get a lot of calls from people. Hey, I was let go. So and so talked bad about me, and they were telling a lie, and the employer believed them, and they let me go. Yeah, well, it's unfortunate, and when it happens, it hurts. But it isn't something that most people can bring a claim for. If you're going to tell me, hey, I've got emails and I was gay and they were making fun of me and they let me go because of that, and I can build a case on that, if I can see some facts that support that, yes, of course, then you'd have a case. But most people, most of the time, don't. Unless, again, we get back to Richard. If you've got an employee handbook and there are certain rules that they say the employer, will follow, and they don't, that's a whole different animal. But if you don't have the employee handbook or they followed all the rules, then you're more likely than not out of luck. 215-227-2727. Let's see. Calls are coming. You people are listening to me, I guess, right? How about this election coming up? I find it intriguing that, first of all, that we had 27 candidates for Republicans, but that they're contested so strongly all the way down the line. Bernie Sanders, nobody ever thought he had a shot. No way. Hillary Clinton had this locked up. It was hers to lose. And the question is she losing it? Between her investigation with the email scandal and what have you, I wonder. And then the question is, if Bernie Sanders does win, does that mean somebody like Donald Trump has a better chance of winning, since, they're both kind of long shot candidates? I don't know. It's a very peculiar world we live in America these days. All right, let's talk to Jack from South Philly on line 2, Larry. Hey, Jack, welcome to Court Radio.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question concerning life insurance. I've had life insurance with, I think it's AIG out of New York for like the last 20 years or so.
Uh-huh.
I retired
Oh, Jack.
Hello?
There you are. You're back. You disappeared. You retired. That's all I heard.
Lines across. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Now, for years, I was paying my insurance through my payroll deductions.
Right.
Hello?
Yep, I hear you. Payroll deductions.
When I retired. We had borrowed some money from the insurance company, right? And I retired a few years ago. Now, I was making payments, but they reduced my coverage from like 100,000, like 80,000. I guess it was only worth 80,000 because of the money I borrowed.
Okay.
Recently, I got a letter stating that my benefits were terminated and paid by a certain time. Unfortunately, I got the letter after the date. When I contacted the offices, they told me I had to pay like the loan and a part of the loan, and my quarterly coverage, right? So it was like $1,600. I sent them a check. I found out would that reinstate my benefits. They were saying, they'd have to review that and have to send the check. I sent the check. I haven't heard anything from them, and I'm just wondering, I'm 60-something years old, and I'm hoping they don't try to just terminate my benefits. I guess to figure I ain't got much longer.
Okay, Jack. How long's it been since you sent the check in? Have they had a chance to review it, or haven't they?
They had. It's been like last month.
Okay, but they haven't sent you a letter saying that they reviewed it and they're not going to reinstate your benefits, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, my experience is most of the time, as long as physically nothing has changed in your life, most of the time they will reinstate the benefits. Now, if they don't reinstate the benefits and you have cash value in this policy, you don't lose that. You'll get that cash value. Okay, the money you borrowed against your policy, was probably not all of the money that your policy had available to you. You didn't max it out. If you didn't max it out, then you still have cash value, and they're going to owe you that. They're going to have to send you a check, and of course they'll also send you the $1,600 back that you sent them. So you'll get something out of this. But I suspect that they will reinstate you if this is the first time that this has happened and you've been a long-term policyholder. So I would just sit tight and wait and see how things go. But you know,
and I would get something out of it. But they want to give if the $1,600, and that's not what I want. I want like coverage, for my family.
Of course, and that's what they're going to review. And as long as your medical history hasn't changed, and I'm sure they asked you those questions when you file the
My medical history hasn't changed.
Right.
But the fact that I'm 67.
Yeah.
I think that would, when they
maybe, but I really think that they're looking to see if you've been diagnosed with some terminal illness or something at this point. I think you're going to be fine, but give us a call back when they make that decision, and then we'll talk from there.
Great.
Jack, have a great.
You're giving me a relief. I just hope they do what you say.
Well, we'll see. Have a great Sunday in South Philly, brother. Take care. All right.
You too.
Bye now. 215-227-2727. Jack from South Philly's got life insurance problems. They don't play. I mean, if you owe them the money and the time comes, that's how they make their money. A lot of insurance companies. Now, I will say that again, if medical history hasn't changed, more likely than not, Jack's going to continue his coverage. But they do. If you owe that, they're going to send you a letter canceling you, and they make money on people who end up allowing their policies to go into cancellation, and they never have to pay on them. But you've paid a premium for however long. That's how they figure that all out when they figure out how they're going to make their billions and billions this year. All right, let's talk to Michael from Clementon, New Jersey, on line 3. Good morning, Michael. Welcome to Court Radio.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
My question is, okay, I want to try to make sure I explain it right.
Wait. Where's Clementon?
Clementon is... you know where Blackwood is? Like around Blackwood area. Blackwood, New Jersey.
Isn't there some amusement park or something in Clementon?
There is a Clementon Park. Yes, it is.
Oh,
right.
okay.
I'm about 5 minutes from the Clementon Park.
Do you go there every year?
But it's weird because if you live close to the place, you tend to not go. Like my kids went. But like me, I only went like twice since I've been living in Clementon.
Right.
But the park is pretty busy. I mean, people from all over come to the park. I guess because I live so close to it. Like I go to Great Adventure. Seems like I like to travel to go and have fun.
Right. Yeah, don't stay too close to home. Get in the car. Get in the car and
go waste some gas. I could be like going to this park, but it's not a big park. But it is a nice park. They got they have the water.
Yeah.
Like a water park there.
Right.
Which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I like that.
So,
water parks are good because, in the summertime it gets hot in Philly anyway. It's so damn humid. And, getting to a water park could be a relief.
Yes, right. And I think that's how they make their money, mainly off the water park. I mean, the rides are okay, but I think they make their money off the water. And it'd be packed, too. It'd be a lot of people go there.
The good thing is if you live near Clementon, you could like sort of sit outside there and start selling things to people who are lining up to go to the park.
Oh, that's funny.
All right.
I like that.
All right, dude. What are you calling me for? Why are you calling?
Okay. My question is, I'm trying to see if people, like, I guess, appeal. Like, my daughter was in a car accident, and we had a lawyer, where they don't get paid unless they settle the case. And we took it all the way to trial. And during trial, it seemed like, to me, she was winning the case. But at the end, the jury came back and awarded her 0, nothing. I'm trying to see if I could go to a different lawyer. Would they take the case and, I guess, retrial it, I guess?
Okay. The answer is no and no. I mean, first of all, there's time limits to take an appeal. You'd have to take an appeal to the next court, to the next level. You can't go back to a trial court. You've had your day in trial. Now you go to an appellate court and you say, hey, that trial court made a mistake in the law and they advised the jury the wrong way or something. You have to point to some mistake that the trial court made. And then the appellate court would say, okay, you've proven they made a mistake. We're going to give you the right to try your case one more time. Then you could go back to trial, but only after an appellate court decides that they've made a mistake. Now, I would suggest to you that most likely your daughter was verbal threshold in New Jersey, and that she needed to prove her injuries were serious and permanent in New Jersey. Actually, serious in Pennsylvania, permanent in New Jersey. And if she won the case on liability, like i.e. she proved it wasn't her fault, that's only half the battle. The second half of the battle is she's got to prove that whatever happened to her in that car caused her to sustain a permanent injury, and forevermore she'll be suffering with it. The jury could find that she didn't cause this accident, but she didn't sustain a permanent injury. And you know how you get around that? You buy better insurance.
Right.
You buy better.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that is true. You're right.
You buy better insurance that doesn't require you and your family members to have to prove that permanent injury. I will tell you, very, very few people in New Jersey buy the better insurance. You're in a crowd of a lot of people, but you know there is a way out. You can do that. And I want to thank you for, and those are tough cases, you know. I mean, I can't point to your attorney. You haven't told me anything that says, hey, they messed up. But, and you thought that she was winning it. So maybe they did a good job, just couldn't prove that permanency. I don't know.
Right. Maybe that could be true.
Have a great Sunday.
All right. And look, I hope to see you at Clements Park.
I want to see you outside selling something, you know, some tchotchkes. All right, take care. Have a great Sunday. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to be back in 2 minutes after the sponsors have had an opportunity to sell you something.
Just hurt. It's not your fault. You're in physical pain. How do you get better? Who is going to help you recover? West Philadelphia Associates has highly trained doctors and staff that can help you today. Don't wait at a hospital. West Philadelphia Associates will work with your attorney, providing documentation of all injuries and the best plan for treatment to get you back to the life you deserve. With diagnostic studies to better detect injuries, West Philadelphia Associates doctors and staff will help you recover. West Philadelphia Associates, here to help you get better because you deserve it. Call 215-471-4714.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years.
You've had
had an accident and can't work, but your legal case seems like it's taking forever and the bills are piling up. At ThriveVest.com, we're here to help. If you have a pending lawsuit, call us at 888-697-7352. ThriveVest.com has flexible solutions to get you money now. And if your case doesn't settle or you don't receive an award, you owe us nothing. Call 888-697-7352. ThriveVest.com. Get the money you need to get on with your life.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's More Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Dean Weitzman and this is Court Radio. It's still April the 10th, and it's still chilly outside, so dress warm. When I pulled into the studio, it was 32 degrees, with a forecast to go to 52 today and be sunny, which is far better than yesterday, but it's going to get rainy tomorrow and rainy the next day, and, you know, typical spring in Philadelphia. I'm sure sun will shine soon. 215-227-2727. If you've got a legal issue, that's the number to call. If you're not calling today on Court Radio, give us a call during the week at My Philly Lawyer, where somebody will take the time to spend a moment with you and give you an answer. Or bring you in if it's something that we feel we can help you with and represent you on. 215-227-2727, the only number you need for all your legal problems. Let's talk to Eric, who's been so patient on line 1, West Philly. Eric. Hey, Eric, welcome to Court Radio.
Hey, what's going on?
You've been very patient. You're one of the first callers today. I want to thank you for your patience.
No problem.
What's happening?
My question.
Yep.
My question is job related. Last year, 2005, they changed the way that they paid out our health insurance. Whereas before, you didn't see it. You just had a card and you go to the doctor. January, they started putting it on my paycheck, and it looks like I'm paying for my insurance, but my employer is going to be paying for my insurance. Now, with them doing that, they cut my daughter off from her benefits, and now when I get to do my taxes this year, I found out now I owe the IRS. So I asked my job, what can they do about it? I asked them for a cost of living increase. They told me really there's basically nothing they can do about it. I wanted to know, is there something I can do about it?
And the answer is probably no. Because, again, we go back to what I started the show with, and that is there's certain areas of the law that people just don't have a heck of a lot of rights with, and one of them is employment. And if your employer has some new rule and it impacts your bottom line, the question is, do you have a right to be made whole, to be put back where you started? And the answer is no, you don't. As long as you don't have a contract with your employer, then you're an at-will employee, and they can reduce your salary as long as they're paying you at least the minimum wage. You know, I mean, there are certain rules. I'm not going to tell you there's none, but generally speaking, you're an at-will employee, and your employer can let you go for any reason, cut your salary for any reason, get rid of benefits that you once had, et cetera, et cetera. And the best thing you can do is job. That's it. That's really it.
All right, so with that being said, could I look for another health insurance policy? Because it looks like I'm paying for my insurance now.
Well, you may be. I mean, you should ask them. You may be paying for a portion of your insurance. So let's say your insurance costs $3,000 a year. You may be paying, I don't know, $10 a week or $500.
No, I'm paying $5,000 a year for insurance. It looks like I pay for my own insurance.
Okay.
But the company is supposed to be paying for it.
Well, why do you say the company is supposed to be paying for it? Because they did in the past.
No, and it says that in the contract that they're supposed to pay for our health insurance.
Well, again, so I circle back to my original statement. If you have a contract that bestows benefits to you and they're not living up to it, then you do have a right to bring a claim. And you could bring a claim for the $5,000. If you had a contract that said your job provides health insurance benefits and we're paying for it, and then all of a sudden they're not paying for it, then you have a right to collect that money from them. And you could bring a lawsuit against them to collect that $5,000. If you're paying for that $5,000 out of your pocket, but the contract says they're supposed to pay, that's a problem for them.
I think they gave me a rate of increase to cover the cost of insurance. But with that rate of increase, it puts me over the threshold for me getting any type of benefits whatsoever.
Right.
They cut me off from benefits, and now I owe the IRS because of how they pay the insurance now.
I see. Okay. So they gave you a raise to cover the cost of insurance. So technically they're still paying for the insurance, but that had secondary impact on your benefits. And the answer is no, you can't do anything about that.
All right.
Sorry, brother. Okay. I wish I could tell you you can, but I think that now, again, the contract really is the beginning and the end of this conversation. You need to read that contract. And if you think that contract does bestow benefits to you in the manner in which they pay for your health, like it says they're going to pay, not give you more money, maybe you still have an argument to make. But bear this in mind. Let's say you make that argument. I don't know what the value of what you lost is, but let's say you make that argument and you're right. You're entitled to it. Then they say, okay, well, we don't need you around here anymore and we're going to let you go. And then you're fighting them for a job, or you're going to court saying that they had a retaliatory firing. I mean, you have to be careful about what it is and how you do it with the job. You could decide that you want to go down that route, and that if you're entitled to it, you want to enforce the agreement. Just understand that there may be consequences, and you may be fighting for more than just these benefits.
Yeah, but at this point, I think it's worth fighting for because it puts me deeper in a hole than what I'm already in.
Well, then I would say to you that the contract is the beginning and end of your relationship with your employer. Read it carefully, and if you still need to have it reviewed by an attorney, there's going to be a cost associated with that because somebody's going to have to sit down, spend some time with you, right, read that contract, and come up with an opinion as to whether you have a right to pursue the claim you want to pursue. So if you want to invest a little money and time, then give us a call, bring the contract down to the office, and we can help you review that and let you know whether we think there is a bona fide claim.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Take care. Thanks for calling Court Radio.
No problem.
215-227-2727. Let's talk to Helen from Logan on line 5, Lar. Hi, Helen. Helen? Oh, Helen. Okay. She just maybe went back to sleep. How about Dwight from Chester on line 2? Hey, Dwight. Yo. How are you?
What's going on?
Chester. How do you like living in Chester?
I don't.
Tell me why.
School situation. Like, I'm bringing up children. The school situation ain't right. They're closing down schools. It's no entertainment for anybody. Like, I got to leave the city just to go to a supermarket.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only entertainment is a casino.
Yeah, that's not much entertainment.
That's not entertainment. What about my children?
Right. Well, now that we got the ugly news out of the way, let's talk. Let's talk about what you're calling me for.
Okay. So I purchased a car from a car lot. And he was going to do the tags and title transfer at the moment. And I said, nah, I got a guy. I went to this guy numerous times. He's really good with that thing, and he's cheaper. So I went to him, and he does the tag and title transfer. But he gives me a temporary tag. that only lasted for 3 months. That 3 months ran up. I still never received the title in the mail, so I went back to him, and he gave me another temporary tag and said, I don't know what's wrong with this. What's going on? I don't know what's going on or whatever. So another additional 3 months came up. I went back to him again. He said, hey, I'm still working on it. Give me another week. Give me a temporary tag for another week. I went back in that extra week, and he told me it's definitely going to be here on Wednesday, the following week. So I had someone that was willing to buy the car. So I said, listen, the guy said the title is going to be here next week. So they paid me for the car. They gave me $1,300. So I went back to him and said, hey, listen, I sold this car. I definitely need that title. You said it would be here. What's going on? It didn't show up. So we went a whole year with this situation that kept getting temporary tags. I got pulled over twice.
Now, this guy that you're getting temporary tags from, he's the one you wanted to use.
Exactly. That is very true. And now, he was arrested by for an insurance title fraud because he had 200 and something counts of it that he was just transferring people's stuff, keeping the money, and never getting.
Yeah, well, this is an old story. I mean, it happens, you know, and so the question is, how do you get made whole? And the answer is, you probably don't. But the best way to get made whole is to talk to the district attorney's office. You might be eligible for crime victims money, though I'm not sure about that. But there is a crime victims fund, and you should look into that. And the district attorney can help you with that. And then, you know, the district attorney who's prosecuting him needs to know that you lost money and how much, so that he can make that a part of his case, so that if there is restitution, you're going to get a little something. But I doubt there will be, but you never know.
Okay, now, what do I do? Because I still never received my title until this day. So what do I do to go about getting my title for my car?
Well, that's an interesting question because, you know, I don't know where the paperwork is. Like you bought a car, and I assume that the person who sold you that car gave you a title, which you then brought.
No,
huh?
He gave me the pink slip. He gave me all the paperwork that I could actually go get insurance. I have insurance on this car, but I was recently pulled over, and they said it's a dead tag on this car. This car doesn't even exist. It's not coming back from the VIN number. And I couldn't understand that because I do have valid insurance. I even got questioned if my insurance was even legit because the tag did not come back to anything. So I still have the pink slip. I still have all the paperwork saying that I did go to this guy and get a transfer.
Right.
But I never received any other paperwork. I never received the actual title. I never received anything.
Okay. But see, here's the thing. When you go buy a car, the reason why you're looking to get title is the new buyer wants the title. And then you sign the back of the title, and he signs the back of the title, and then the Commonwealth reissues a title in his name. So when you bought this car from the car lot, didn't they give you a title that you signed, they signed, so that you...
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So a title existed. It just wasn't in your name yet.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So if what you're going to have to do is probably get a new title and go back to the car lot and have them re-sign it. And that title...
Wow.
That title is in Harrisburg. You're going to have to get a duplicate title of the car, bring it to the car lot, show them your pink slip and your receipt, and get them to sign the title so that you can start this process again. And you can get the title transferred into your name. But you need the original title, which is still in the name of the car lot, I presume.
Right.
And that's how I would do it.
Okay, so now it's going to cost me even more. So when I go to the district attorney, I can say, hey, so I pay to get another title back to Harrisburg, and I had to pay it. So I can just add all of that into the claim.
Yep.
All right, so I'll be giving you a phone call to represent me in this thing.
All right, Dwight from Chester, be well. Thanks for calling Court Radio, and have a great day. 215-227-2727. I didn't have the heart to tell Dwight, I'm not going to get that case. I'm not going to go anywhere near that case. No, just kidding. Now, he doesn't need a lawyer to represent him on that. He just needs to let the district attorney know, who's handling the prosecution of the fraudster, that he was one of the people who he took advantage of, and this is how much he lost. And the district attorney will handle that. He doesn't really need private counsel for that. That's really what I wanted to say to Dwight. Not that I wouldn't handle his case, because, I might handle his case if he gave me a lot of money, but I don't think so. But he doesn't need me. Lucky for him. All right, let's talk to Bob from Sharon Hill, which is also kind of on that Chester County area line. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Yo, hey, man, before all your clients, let somebody else do the driving. They should call Dean first.
That's right. Well, what can I tell you? We wouldn't have an entertaining show if they called me first, because they'd have answers and they'd have satisfaction. So,
now they have a good lawyer.
Yeah, I know. All right, Bobby, how are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. Great.
Yeah, good. Thanks for calling again. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for taking my call since 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, friends can wait a little while,
That's how that goes. Okay, that's understandable.
Bankruptcy. What do you want to know about bankruptcy?
I want to know. When a person sends all that money to the trustees, right?
Yep.
Say for like 6, 7, 8 months until you go to the last call when they have all the paperwork done, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens then?
Your case is dismissed, and any debts you owed are erased if you've paid all the payments that you're supposed to pay. Now, if you get discharged early, like you stop making the payments, you make payments for 8 or 9 months, and then you stop making payments, you haven't lived up to the obligation. I think the trustee, as he or she gets the money, they pay it out, a certain percentage to the people that you owe the money to. But if you haven't lived up to the full obligation and concluded the payment plan, then you still owe all those people, and you don't have any relief from the bankruptcy. So you're screwed, in essence.
So what's the relief you get, though, if you keep your payments up and keep going along with their program?
Well, a couple things. One, you may have a portion of your debt eradicated. So you're talking about a Chapter 13, a payment plan. So let's say you owe a creditor $1,000. Well, they may only get paid $250 through the bankruptcy plan. The other $750 that you owe them, that's wiped away as long as you made those payments. At a minimum, you get interest-free payments over 48 or 60 months that you wouldn't have had, and you don't have to deal with the creditors, at a minimum. But oftentimes, even in a 13, a portion of the debt is forgiven. Bobby, I'd love to talk more, but I got to take this break for the sponsors. I hope I answered it. If not, call me during the week. You know the number. Peace.
Peace, my man.
All right. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You were just hurt. It's not your fault. You're in physical pain. How do you get better? Who is going to help you recover? West Philadelphia Associates has highly trained doctors and staff that can help you today. Don't wait at a hospital. West Philadelphia Associates will work with your attorney, providing documentation of all injuries and the best plan for treatment to get you back to the life you deserve. With diagnostic studies to better detect injuries, West Philadelphia Associates doctors and staff will help you recover. West Philadelphia Associates, here to help you get better because you deserve it. Call 215-478 877-147-4714.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years. You've had an accident and can't work, but your legal case seems like it's taking forever, and the bills are piling up. At ThriveVest.com, we're here to help. If you have a pending lawsuit, call us at 888-697-7352. ThriveVest.com has flexible solutions to get you money now. And if your case doesn't settle or you don't receive an award, you owe us nothing. Call 888-697-7352. ThriveVest.com. Get the money you need to get on with your life.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's More Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's Dean Weitzman, and this is Court Radio. That's right, the place where you get your legal questions answered one at a time every Sunday morning from 7 to 8 across all the stations. All you got to do is give us a call at 215-227-2727. And we have to like you. And then the magic happens. So let's talk to Norma from West Philly on line 1. Ba-boom. Hi, Norma.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm blessed. We only have a short time, Norma, so I'm gonna give it to you square and straight, right? Norma,
yes.
Norma, you're calling because you were involved in a SEPTA accident, and you want to know if you...
Not actually. Go ahead. Not actually myself.
Oh.
Friend of mine.
Oh, it's always a friend. It's always the it's always the friend.
You know, it's always a friend. Yeah, looking out for him, making sure. You know how when you have the case and the lawyer won't borrow, you can't borrow money from him, but you go to an outside company.
Yes.
My question in short was, what do they base that on?
Okay.
Like the amount of money that you would get. I'm
going to give you the answer. They try to determine the value of your case and give you a percentage of that value. And so, in the SEPTA accident case, the first question they want to know is SEPTA at fault, or is the other car at fault? If the other car is at fault, not SEPTA, then there may only be a $30,000 policy that has to get split between 15 people who are on the bus, and everybody only may get $2,000. In that case, they're not going to lend anything to anybody. But if SEPTA were at fault and there's a big policy, $1 million policy, then they start to look at the value of your case, your injuries, and then they determine, well, based on these injuries, we think he might get $13,000 in his settlement, so we'll lend him $1,000. So they try to determine in many ways what the value of the case is and then lend you a small percentage of that value. Norma, okay. I got to run, babe. Yes. I'd love to talk more. But
well, you answered my question very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great Sunday. Folks,
you do the same.
We're all out of time. We'll see you next week, same time. Peace out.